Weeks had passed since Sarah, Lisa, and Kevin had left Gray Hallow, but it wasn't a clean escape. While the memories of the village had faded like a misty dream, certain things remained. Sarah often found herself waking up in the dead of night, her heart racing as if she had been running from something. She couldn't remember exactly what, but the whispers lingered in her mind. It was a cold autumn evening when Sarah received a phone call from Lisa. There was something unsettling in her voice. "Sarah, I've been hearing the whispers again." Sarah froze. She hadn't spoken to anyone about the whispers for fear they'd think she was crazy. But here was Lisa, confirming the very thing that haunted her. "It's happening to me too," Sarah admitted, her voice barely a whisper. "It's like Gray Hallow isn't done with us." Lisa sighed on the other end. "Kevin's been missing for 2 days. I think he's gone back." Sarah's blood ran cold. For all. She remembered the village's curse. The lost couldn't leave. Could it be that Kevin was still trapped? "We have to go back," Sarah whispered. "We have to end this." Sarah and Lisa packed hastily and drove through the same winding mountain roads that led them to Gray Hallow weeks ago. This time, the air felt different. The skies were heavy with dark clouds, threatening another storm. Neither of them spoke much during the drive. Both felt the pull of the village, as though something was dragging them back. As they approached, the village looked even more decrepit, more lifeless than before. The faint lights that once flickered were completely gone, replaced by an eerie, unnatural darkness. There was no wind, no sound, just the overwhelming presence of silence. The sign reading "Welcome to Gray Hallow" was still there, though it seemed to have aged centuries in the span of a few weeks. Moss hung from it like rotting skin. Sarah and Lisa parked the car and cautiously walked toward the center of the village. The air felt heavier with each step, as though invisible hands were gripping their chests. The village had a way of swallowing sound, making even the smallest noise echo unnaturally. Suddenly, from behind one of the abandoned houses, there was movement. A shadow darted across their path, moving too fast for them to get a good look. The tension was unbearable. "I don't like this," Lisa muttered, her voice trembling. Sarah's eyes scanned the village. They needed to find Kevin, but part of her feared they'd find something much worse. They retraced their steps to the inn where the old woman had greeted them the first time. The inn now looked even more decrepit, as if it had been abandoned for years. The windows were shattered, the door creaked ominously, and the air inside smelled of decay. As they stepped in, Sarah noticed something new. There were strange, glowing symbols carved into the walls, symbols that looked like the ones that had appeared in their rooms before they left. But these were more detailed, more sinister. They pulsed faintly in the darkness, casting ghostly shadows across the room. "We need to find that book," Sarah whispered, remembering the ancient tome they had seen at the church. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed through the inn. They turned toward the sound, their hearts pounding. At the far end of the hallway, they saw a figure. It was Kevin. He looked different, pale, hollow, as though he had aged decades since they last saw him.
I can't say enough good things about the Marikiti women's oversized chunky knit cardigan. This sweater is everything I've been looking for in cozy outerwear, and it has quickly become my go-to piece for fall and winter. The first thing I noticed when I put this cardigan on was how soft and cozy it feels. The chunky knit material is super warm, making it perfect for chilly days. The oversized fit adds to the comfort. It's slouchy in all the right ways without being shapeless. Whether I'm lounging at home or heading out, I feel wrapped in a blanket of warmth. Not only is it comfortable, but the style is spot on. The button-down design with the lapel collar adds a classic touch, and the cardigan drapes beautifully. It's the perfect mix of trendy and timeless. The length hits just right, giving you a flattering, elongated silhouette, and the neutral color options make it easy to pair with just about anything in your wardrobe. This cardigan is so versatile. I've worn it casually with jeans and a tee, but it also works great when I'm dressing up a bit for dinner or a night out. You can layer it over a simple top for extra warmth, or even wear it as a lightweight jacket. The oversized fit makes it ideal for layering over thicker tops or sweaters too. It's one of those pieces you can throw on effortlessly and still look chic. The chunky knit fabric feels really high quality. It's thick enough to provide warmth, but not so heavy that it's uncomfortable. After multiple washes, it still looks brand new. No pilling or stretching out of shape, which is a huge plus. Oversized fit comfortable and stylish without looking baggy. Chunky knit fabric. Soft, warm, and perfect for layering in colder months. Button-down design adds a chic, polished touch. Versatile. Dress it up or down for any occasion. Durable. Holds up great after washes. If you're looking for a cozy yet stylish cardigan to carry you through the colder months, I can't recommend this one enough. Whether you're heading to brunch with friends or just want something comfy for staying in, this cardigan has got you covered. Trust me, once you try it, you'll be wearing it all the time.
His eyes were wide with fear, his body trembling uncontrollably. "You shouldn't have come back," Kevin croaked, his voice barely recognizable. "The village. It knows." The reunion was brief. Kevin, though physically present, was distant, as if a part of him had been left behind in the village. He told them that, after they had left, the whispers became unbearable. They had called him back, pulling him toward the church where the villagers had appeared to him once more. They were no longer just shadows. They had become corporeal, twisted beings, cursed to exist in this timeless place. Kevin led them to the old church, but this time it looked completely different. The entire structure had shifted. The stained glass windows no longer displayed images of saints. Instead, they were filled with grotesque depictions of villagers screaming in agony, their faces twisted in eternal suffering. Inside, the church was colder than before, and the air was thick with the smell of rotting wood and something else, something foul and ancient. The book they had seen before lay open on the altar, but the pages were now glowing with the same eerie symbols they had seen in the inn. "The book," Kevin said in a trembling voice, "it holds the secret to breaking the curse. But to break it, one of us must take on the village's burden." Lisa looked horrified. "What do you mean?" Kevin's eyes filled with dread. "One of us has to become the guardian of Gray Hallow to take the place of those who've been forgotten. Only then will the rest of us be free." A heavy silence fell over them as Kevin's words hung in the air. The village demanded a sacrifice, a living soul to take its place as the cursed keeper of Gray Hallow. Sarah felt the weight of the decision pressing down on her, but she couldn't ask anyone to make that sacrifice. Suddenly the whispers returned, louder and more frantic than before. The villagers, gaunt, twisted figures, emerged from the shadows of the church surrounding them. Their hollow eyes glowed faintly in the dim light, and their mouths moved silently, repeating the same unintelligible words. One villager stepped forward, its face gaunt and skeletal. "Choose." Sarah's heart raced as she looked at Kevin and Lisa. Lisa was shaking, tears streaming down her face. Kevin stared blankly ahead, resigned to his fate. The realization struck Sarah hard. Kevin had already decided. He had returned to Gray Hallow knowing that it would be his fate to stay. "I'll do it," Kevin whispered, his voice breaking. "No," Lisa cried. But Kevin stepped forward toward the altar. The villagers parted, allowing him through. As Kevin placed his hand on the glowing book, the symbols on the pages flared brightly. The villagers began to fade into the shadows, their ghostly figures dissipating like smoke. The air grew colder, and the room darkened. Sarah felt a tug at her mind, as though her memories of Kevin were being pulled away, erased by the village's magic. Kevin turned to face them one last time, his eyes filled with sorrow. "Go, you have to forget me." Sarah and Lisa left the church, their hearts heavy with grief. Outside, the village seemed to be decaying even faster, the buildings collapsing in on themselves, the streets turning to dust. The oppressive silence that once filled the air was gone, replaced by an eerie calm. They walked toward their car in silence, neither daring to speak. The village had let them go, but had taken something precious from them in return. Sarah felt a strange numbness settling over her, as if the memories of Gray Hallow were slowly slipping away. As they drove away from the village, Sarah glanced in the rearview mirror, half expecting to see the shadowy figure of Kevin standing at the village entrance. But there was nothing, just an empty road stretching into the distance. Lisa wiped tears from her face and stared out the window. "Do you think we'll ever remember him?" Sarah shook her head. "I don't know." As the car sped away, the village of Gray Hallow faded into the mist behind them, lost to time once more. Months passed, and the memory of Kevin had become a distant blur in Sarah's mind, like the remnants of a dream. She had moved on, trying to rebuild her life, but the whispers never truly left her. Sometimes late at night, she would wake up to the faint sound of someone calling her name. One evening, while sitting in her apartment, Sarah received a package with no return address. Inside was a single piece of paper, old and yellowed with age. On it were the same symbols she had seen in the village. Her heart raced as the whispers returned louder than ever before. Suddenly she remembered everything: the village, the curse, Kevin's sacrifice. But with that memory came something darker. The village wasn't finished with her yet. The last whisper, faint and cold, echoed in her mind, "Come back."